I have on the list. Yeah, on the list we I have Mr. Bernard Ewa. Bernard Ewa is a big brother. I must say, I call him big brother. Mr. Bernard Ewa is a deputy director, e-governance development and regulations at the National Information Development Technology. National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. Um, he had practice. His practice area is in tech policy, designs, and governance process reforms with high impact on communities. In addition to above role, Amida Bernard is a founder and board member of Citizens Collaborative, a hands-on platform dedicated to promoting digital opportunities and lifestyles among Nigerians. His background extends beyond public service to business and consulting. He is a co-founder of NIT Computer Education Center Abuja and has mentored hundreds of present day tech leaders in Ben Adewa is a fabulous guy, I must say. He had had the opportunity to facilitate when we started this program, and his presentation was awesome. So I'll urge you guys to go back to our YouTube channel and dig out Bernard's presentation. I think he presented on where will the job comes from, which gave us insight into where opportunities are. So if you're still trying to find a footing around your career, I think that session is something you should go. My friend, I call her my babe, Niles Pelshak. Niles is a cybersecurity engineer with specialization in cloud security at Cisco Systems USA. She's joining us from the United States. She works with the government entities, service providers, healthcare, and enterprises. As a co-founder and CEO of she leads technical security strategies that enable cybersecurity governance and risk mitigation and threat mitigation, risk mitigation in public and private sector. She holds a certification in networking and cybersecurity and data center, and also has the world-renowned Cisco Certified International Networking Expert, CCIE. So Niles is one of the experts in the house. She has been instrumental to the success of this platform, I must say. And I like I told her this evening that I'm sure that this platform, alongside Bernard, alongside Mora, and showing up on this and also giving out their time and their contribution has also given me the motivation to still keep going. And so Niles will be sharing our perspectives on the subject matter today. So on the third on the list, I have Mr. Mora, who's also a very good friend. Mora Odegbunam is on his 20th year in the journey through learning and applying his knowledge in solving business problems using technology across private, social, and public sector in Nigeria. He has been involved in some major breakthrough initiatives from both outside and within public sector space and has driven institutionalization of key reforms in various government and non-governmental organizations. Mora is currently a senior manager responsible for enterprise systems at the Federal Inland Revenue Service in Nigeria. So Mora also has Mora's presentation as well, and Na's presentation Nas times, so I'm trying to make it the best of our time. Now I have my little baby here who has just bumped in and has crash landed the meeting. Okay, let me carry her while the mom will come get her. All right, so today I must say David is a software and education entrepreneur. He is the co-founder of Brainy Hive Schools, founder DevShop webmaster and Kicks Code Academy. He's also the CEO of Lenity Lab, a software development company building edutech solutions for schools and educational institutions. The most recent product, schoolx.ng, is powering dozens of schools running online school and delivering active e-learning today. David has been actively involved in and integrating STEM education into curriculum of primary schools and has authored a textbook called Early Coding. So David also will be sharing his perspective on the subject matter today. A great guy. I'm sure he has his own style of presentation. I mean, he has his own, the way it comes, is the angle it comes from most times wows me. So I'm sure there will be great insight from David's contribution this evening. And also last on the list, who is new to the platform, I must say, is new to the platform, and she's new on the platform. Let me say she's not new on the platform per se, but she's new because this is the first time she'll be participating at the webinar level. She's part of the group, the WhatsApp group, because I see her there. And she's a very good friend. Her name is Catherine Williams. Catherine is a business development consultant, HR consultant, business coach, trainer, conference speaker, and lead consultant. Catherine Williams, HR, founder, Alpha Female Leaders and Enterprise Network, and also founder Table of Women's Network. Catherine holds a degree in business administration, a degree in accounting from University of Calabar, MSc Finance and Accounting, London School of Business and Finance, UK alumni of Lagos Business, alumni of Lagos Business School, member associate chartered certified accountants, UK, member sourcing professionals of Nigeria, certified member customer service Institute of America, and member Institute of Strategic Management Nigeria. I particularly picked her because she's an HR person, and I believe her insights or her perspective to the subject matter will also be of great value to us, being in the recruitment in the HR business. And Catherine is a friend as well that and has facilitated at some of our trainings, not at the webinar level when we used to have in-house trainings. And she's a fabulous person, and I'm sure. Oh, sorry, I should have asked them to just say hello as I introduced them. So let me say by saying letting Ben say, at least, Mr. Ben, can you just say hi to the house so that they get to know who Ben is? I've given your profile already, but just say hi to the persons in the house. Hi. Hi. All right. Okay. Okay. So that's Mr. Ben. Okay, that's Mr. Ben. So how about Mr. Those who don't know you, could you
Hi.
just say hi?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited to be part of this movement. I'm so excited to be part of this movement, the future of job in Africa. Everything concerning Africa pleases me to be part of it. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me here.
A great panel of discussants.
Okay. All right. So that's Catherine, Niles, and David. I can see Niles. You can go first because I see your mic is on. Okay, David's mic is also unmuted. If Niles is not there, David, you could go ahead and just greet.
All right, good evening. Sorry, I'm not in my workspace. I'm in transit. But I'll try my best to be part of this meeting. Thank you for what you're doing, and thanks everybody for being part of this. Hope to have a great learning experience. I'm really here to learn, so I want to hear what people think about the topic, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Mr. Mora, can you just say hi to the house while I get this girl to come? Okay, you two say hi to everybody. Hi. All right.
Mora, I opened a new service, so I'm looking up towards the discussion we have. I believe it's going to be an interesting time. Thank you very much.
All right, Mora, thank you very much for also gracing us with your presence. Niles, how about you? That's the last panelist before we move on. Niles, are you there? Could you just say hello to the house?
Yes, certainly good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you to all the panelists and all the attendees for attending. I'm looking forward to the conversation. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to hear all the different perspectives that and what they're going to share with the group. So thank you for having me, Ms. Tuko.
Okay, all right. So moving on. Quickly, I'm going to use. I just. This maybe at the end of the meeting, as we round about, share why I said the subject matter is one that is very.
Uko, can you please switch off your video? I think we're having some low bandwidth issues. So if you can just switch off your video, I think that might be helpful for us to hear everything you are saying. Uko, were you able to hear me?
Did you lose him?
I'm just texting Uko for the chat room here.
Okay.
Okay, my video is off. I just want to be sure you guys can hear me, so I can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you go is better now.
Okay. And still above degree today. Well, as the conversation moves on, we'll get to know. Okay, so quickly. Okay, people are still sending chats. Sorry, Niles, I think I have this annotation on my system. And my screen seems not to be moving.
Can you stop sharing and then just click on the stop
And
sharing?
okay, stop sharing. And
Yeah. Or click on the annotate. All right. I just grabbed the ball. I'm going to pass the ball back to you so that you can share again, okay?
Okay. Okay.
All right, you can go and share it again.
Okay. Okay. All right. So quickly, I just want to share a couple of data so that this will serve as a background for our discussion. Now, if you're looking at my screen at the moment, you see the statistics that says by Upwork that says that in July this year, 2020, that 70% growing skills by July survey this year. 70% are new skills. New skills on Upwork. Upwork is a freelance platform. Now they did a survey by July 2020 and discovered that 70%, the fastest growing skills, 70% of them are new skills. And these are skills that are not taught in our traditional universities. Also, Also, a survey by World Economic Forum also says that children entering primary school will end up, that 65% of children entering primary school will end up in new jobs that didn't even exist as at now. So 65% of our children that are entering into primary school will end up in don't yet exist. And then we also have the vice president of Google in 2018 was interviewed. Google did, like I think I shared that today. Google did a survey on their hiring trend, and they used using big data and artificial intelligence to dig out insights. And one of the revelation, or one of the things they discovered, according to the vice president, senior vice president of people and operations at Google, is that 14%, 14% as at 2018 are people who never went to colleges, who never attended colleges, and that GPAs are worthless are worthless as criteria for hiring. That was a discovery by Google. And also in 2018 as well, PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, began a pilot program allowing high school graduates to begin working as accountants and risk management consultants. Now, these are trends I just want to show us that the trend had already started a couple of years ago. And like you have it today, we have more four-year traditional degree and concentrate first one skill. And this is one of the comments by Elon Musk when he during I think it was last year during when they wanted to recruit, and he put this on his Twitter page. He said Elon Musk was using Twitter to recruit for Tesla, and he said his electric car company, a part of the tweet read, a PhD is definitely not required. I don't care if you even graduated high school. Even right here in our office, not a single person was employed based on what they studied in the university. Now, this is just to lay a background so that we ask ourselves this pertinent question. Are we getting it right as a nation? Are we getting it right? How do we direct? I've had a lot of young people walk up to me and ask this question. And I must say, most times I don't to give them a direct answer. I try to juggle it around. So now let's come back home to Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have currently by this December, this year, 1.9 million candidates sat for UTME. That is the University Tertiary Matriculation Exam, which is popularly known as JAM. 1.9 candidates University and College of 50,000. Now, what happens to the remaining, even if we're able to absorb only 750,000 of these young persons who have written JAM, what happens to the remaining number, the leftovers? And we also go to the right-hand side, you find out that by WAEC, this is data from WAEC, that over 1.5 million students sat for. Now, these are 20 years. And the question that comes to mind each time I look at this number is that what is going to happen to this number of young persons that were churning out from secondary school, churning out from the university on an annual basis? And currently, unemployment in Nigeria, youth unemployment, according to National Bureau of Statistics, is 48.9 million. Unemployment generates about 60 something, I think 68 million, but 48.9 million. These people are actually young people between ages of 18 to 35, staggering figure. And also, average jobs created annually in Nigeria, and this particular information, 2015. In 2015, and we've not had it this good since then. It's 450,000 jobs created in Nigeria. And there's a breakdown that says that the formal sector, this is statistics from MBS, the informal sector accounts for accounted, because I don't have current data, accounted for 77% while the public sector accounted for 4%, and then the private sector 19%. Now, this is another survey by World Economic Forum. I shared this in my last presentation, where we looked at the human capital optimization in Africa and where Nigeria stands. Now, World Economic Forum did this survey, or did this, and they came up with their data. And the data was they sampled 25 countries in Africa, including Nigeria. And out of 25, look at where Nigeria is. Nigeria is one of the last three in terms of human capital optimization, meaning that Nigeria is not actually optimizing the human capital we have. The world average is 65%. Africans average stands at percent, while the world average is currently Nigeria's data currently falls below world average and even Africans average. Nigeria is between, I think, about if you can look at, that's about 48, maybe 48, 49%. That means there are a lot of human potentials, human capital being wasted in Nigeria. And look at the countries that are really optimizing. Their data is even above the world average. Mauritius, the tiny country as Mauritius, Ghana, our next door neighbor, and then South Africa. Now the list goes on and on and on, but I only picked the first three and the bottom three, and look at where we are. Nigeria, we're battling with Mali. We're currently experiencing civil unrest, or less civil unrest, and Chad. That's where Nigeria is categorized. So this information is just to help us, give us a kind of background to our conversations this evening. Let me move forward. I think I have one more slide to share before, one or two more slides to share before we move on. Come on, this system shouldn't fail me now, because I want to wrap up and let's start the conversation. Okay, so I also have here this chart that says, still by World Economic Forum, a survey of the quality of educations in Africa, educational system in Africa. And look at the chart. My Kenyan persons. I don't know if my Kenyan brothers or sisters in the house. I know a couple of them had already indicated they were going to join the webinar this evening, the meeting. Now, Kenya is number one in terms of quality of education system in Africa, according to World Economic Forum studies or survey. Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda, Cote d'Ivoire, Zambia, Ghana. Now look at where our beloved country is, Nigeria. And the world average is 3.8. So Nigeria is all below world average in terms of system of education. Okay, I think this is the final. Now my final data that I want to also share with you guys so that we can kickstart the conversation is that in 2014, Nigerian Immigration Service, 520,000 applied for 4,000 advertised vacancy position in the immigration service. This implies that 130 unemployed chased each of the 4,000 vacant position. Now in 2018, be able to verify this if it's true, because this data was given by a former what do they call him, oh god, I've forgotten his name, has skipped my memory. In 2018, the last is it DG, during an interview said that 700,000 graduates applied 500 advertised position in FIRS, with 2,000 of the applicants holding first-class degrees. Now, I'm bringing these facts to back up what studies and other studies by multinationals, by organizations have revealed, that it's not far from the truth. We're not optimizing human capital in our country. And if we keep insisting on the 4-year degree, what is the future young persons who can make the 4-year degree? Like I said, I have a personal story I'm going to share at the end of the conversation, at the end of the conversation. So quickly, as I wrap up, in Thank you very much. Quickly done. Yes, I'm done with my slide. So now, so you take over from there. Let me quickly. So now, I hope you guys are hearing me. I'm seeing network. I think I'm having low bandwidth here. So anyway, like and these are from Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, World Economic Forum, Nigerian. This shows a pitiable in Nigeria. So I would want to throw the conversation open now, but I want to ask the very first question because my very first question will be directed to David because he is directly concerned. He's in the education field. And my question for David will be that just share your perspective. Last year, I think thereabouts, there was this slogan that was currently trending in Nigeria where the youth, as a result of what is happening, they say go to school, you go to school, at the end of the day, you can't find jobs. And you have people who didn't even go to school that are even doing better. And a lot of them came up with the philosophy or ideology that school na scam, meaning that for those, I don't know, for any member of African brothers or sisters that are here who might not understand pidgin, school na scam mean that the entire educational system or whatever you call it is a scam. It's not working. They tell you do this and you get this, but at the end of the day, it doesn't appear to be that way. A lot of these people spend hard-earned money, hard-earned time, a 4-year degree, 6-year degree, they come out and still cannot pin down employment. And not just pin down employment, cannot even create meaningful employment or meaningful jobs for themselves. So my question to David first that will kickstart this conversation is, David, now what is your perspective about the slogan said school now come?
Yeah, thank you.
Is it fleeing the young people? If you say yes, please tell us why. And if you say no, please also tell us why you say no. It is not a scam. Because if you look at the data, the number of students churning out every day and they are out there on the streets, no job for them. They jobs for themselves and they cannot even pinpoint meaningful employment. It appears that the entire schooling system is a scam. So please share your perspective on that. If you say yes, please tell us why. And if you say no, please share and let us know why you say no. You disagree. So David, the floor is yours.
Okay, George, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, good. I think that's an interesting question, and it's more like it's dicey. I understand why people are going to say school is scam. I mean, the data you've shared makes it clear and show us. The data you've shared makes it clear and will make and understand why anybody would think that school is scam. But now I'm going to come in from two perspectives because I run businesses in different sectors and I employ in different sectors. I wouldn't. I'll recruit differently. Now, I run a school, okay, and I run a software tech company. So, in the IT company, your degree or your schooling is not a factor for me when I'm recruiting. I don't put that into consideration. I have people who work for me who are school dropouts. I know they are school dropouts. I don't care. Many people who work for me, I don't even care what they studied. I don't care what they graduated with. I really don't care. In that industry, it is skill based. So in a skill based industry, you can, if you say school is scam, you are not totally wrong because it looks like it. Now, I'll be very careful before I say yes, school is scam. Let me tell you this. Let me give you this example. I have this senior friend. While I was in the university, I studied computer science first degree. While I was in the university, he used to come to our campus to use our lab to code. Basically, he taught many of us how to code. He was not a student. He just comes to use free Wi-Fi, free computers, free access, and do what he needs to do. We call him Java. That was his nickname. Now, Java or Jaji had not gone to the university. We were in the university. He was organizing tutorials for us. He was the one teaching us how to code. Jaji went on to work. After for about 2 years, we didn't see him. The next time I saw him on Facebook, I saw him hand side by side with the president of DR Congo. He was running a project for the government of Congo. This guy has not gone to the university. By and large, Jaji moved on, and he currently works for the African Union. He lives in Addis Ababa, works for the African Union. Now, this guy was one of the best hands they had on their technical team. Almost every on the team. But guess what? Jaji could never head any project team in the African Union. Why? He does not have a university degree. He could never get to management. He could never just, there was a cap on which he could get to. Yes, he was very skilled. Yes, he was very experienced, but there was a cap on how far he could rise in the organization. Now, I know we're talking about 21st century organizations like Facebook, like Google, like Apple that are tech-driven, who are changing the policies. But you see, when you look at the large pool, those companies are still very few compared to the larger labor market. In the African Union, now, while there, my friend enrolled at the University of Manchester for an online degree program. And in 4 years, he finished and had his bachelor's degree. And the very month he graduated, Jaji was promoted to become a manager in the African Union. The same things he was doing, now he heads his own project. So looking at that, I'll be very careful before I say school is scam. There are things that we look out for. There are still organizations that want to look out for things. I mean, if you can survive a 4-year degree program, aside the skill that you learn, it has shown some level of commitment, some level of discipline. So there are things that process still drives you through. In high school, for example, where our major product is knowledge. I'm not likely going to employ somebody who has not gone to school to teach in a school. And we run a different kind of school. So yes, skill is important. Your skill is what is going to give you a footing in the market. But you see, your education most times opens the door. An education, a degree can open the door for you, but it can't keep you in the room. So the degree or the degrees or whatever it is, there are places we go to today, you have a PhD, automatically they want to listen to you because they believe that you know what you are saying. The things you are going to say may not be from your PhD program, may not be things you learned in the classroom. Knowledge that, oh, this guy has gotten the certificate, he's gotten these degrees, and eventually there has to be a system of evaluating your skill, and that's where school comes in. So when we say school here, it may be the conventional educational system, but even in the skill-based industry, there are professional certifications. That's the kind of schooling. So you say you know Java, right? What certifications do you have? You say you know this, do you know that? What are the certifications you've gotten to prove that you have this particular skill or that you are experienced in this? Come, I'll tell you and go to school. You are better off if you have. So, hi George, are you there? Uh-oh. Can anybody hear me? Niles, are you there?
David,
Yeah, David, I can hear you.
Yes, I could hear you.
Okay.
And thank you for your perspective. But your perspective, you throw up some other question, something that just came up, and that has to the benchmark or the dichotomy between like I said, your friend could not advance, not because he was not he didn't bring much value to the team. He brought enough value to the team that could have qualified him to head any team. But there was this benchmark or this barrier that was set to discriminate against.
It's not discrimination, it's policy. See, policy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Sorry. I understand it's policy. Yeah. I want to say policy, but I wanted to use discrimination because I feel personally, I feel that somebody is qualified for something and you know is qualified for that thing, but you set a policy to discriminate. Now, I want to move the next question to to Ben, because Ben is in the policy sector, and then also maybe Trinity will also come in there because she's in the HR industry. Now, Mr. Ben, what about now? I know you are you have an IT background as well, and you are in a governmental agency where you regulate the IT industry. Now, what is your take personally? I'm talking about from the government perspective, your own perspective, Mr. Ben, concerning the benchmark that has been set, that no matter who you are, no matter how much value you bring to the table, certainly the policy has written against you that you cannot rise beyond a certain cadre. So, Mr. Ben, what's your own take about this? Should or should we not hold? And if you say so, stay, please tell us why. And if you think policy should not, tell us how do we get rid of such policy, or why you think we should not hold. Mr. Ben, are you there?
Bern, you have to unmute yourself. If you're speaking to mute.
Really? Me?
No, Mr. Bern, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay, if Ben is not readily available, can I push that question? Catherine, you are in the HR industry. Your phone, okay, Ben, I think his mic is on mute now. So Ben, did you hear me?
Yeah, just say it again.
Okay. I said now, while Mr. David was sharing his perspective about whether school is a scam or not a scam, now it gave us a story about his friend who works with African Union, and they employed him without a university degree. That's because he's valuable to the organization, and for everything he belonged to the AU. He was great value, and as a matter of fact, he was the one that brought the greatest value to the team, but never had an opportunity to head a team simply because he never had a 4-year university degree. I was now saying, what is your take now? Your own take, not the government part. I know you work for a government agency. Your own take as regards such a situation by people who are skillful, who know they have the capacity to lead teams or to break beyond a certain barrier, but they cannot because of issues. What's your own take? Should such policy hold? Why, if you say it should, and if it shouldn't hold, it shouldn't stand true in this dispensation, then also tell us why it shouldn't.
Well, no, I don't.
Hey, Bern, we're not hearing what you're saying. So I don't know if you're moving about or not, but we're not making out everything you said or saying.
Your bandwidth seems to be having issues, Mr. Ben. We could hardly make sense of what you're saying.
Of
Okay, Ben, hear me. Maybe we'll just hold on to your thought, because I think your bandwidth, you're having issues. So you
and
clearly,
I also like to.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
I want to move on to maybe Catherine. They come back to you and see if your internet connection will
Hold on, let me try to connect to my earpiece.
Are you good? Please, let's. Are you there? Because Ben seems to be having internet issues.
I can hear you. Yes.
No, we can't hear
Go
you,
ahead.
Ben. We can't hear you. You're breaking. So
We can't hear you.
no,
Is
hold
it
on.
then? You're having, I think it's
Internet.
your internet because it keeps cracking. We
Internet,
can't hear
yes.
you.
So just
Oh, okay.
let's leave it to get better. Actually, can you go ahead with that with the policy aspect of the conversation?
You see, from coming from my own side of this part that we take policy and decision, right? I like to say
Yeah.
that degree is the first step in the ladder of skills, right? So please, are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so like I said, that degree is the first step in the ladder of skills. In as much as we said, okay, skill is good. Oh, perfectly, it's okay. But coming from my own background as an HR person, let your degree comes first, and then your skill will make up. Now, why do I have to say so? We are in Nigeria. If it's an all developed country, a developed world, is a different ballgame. But let's use Nigeria as a factor. Now, in Nigeria, what is important in Nigeria is your degree. In short, there was a period that Mobile did not employ anybody if you're not a first class. I remember when I was looking for a job, when I just graduated from the uni, my first degree, they didn't take anybody if you're not first class. And then we had people that were having third class, but they were very good. But they were looking at, are you a first class citizen? Are you first class? Because call them first class citizens. Now, there was a period that the federal government in Nigeria were giving scholarship, but they were only giving scholarship outside Nigeria to first class citizens. Because I have this information, because I was part of people trying to say, okay, I need to attend this scholarship. But we were not given the scholarship because we didn't have first class. In Nigeria, degree comes first. And because we are in Nigeria, what do? You have a degree. Now, what will make you stand out? What will make you important? Or what will make you anybody want to prefer you against any other person? Add up skills to your degree. In Nigeria, both work hand in hand. But if you're talking outside Nigeria, in other African countries, yeah, they look at skill first before degree. Just like what the scenario Dave was saying. Yes, I also had the same scenario too. So, but in Nigeria is a different case, and we have the young people in Nigeria in this platform that they should understand. I saw somebody was writing, education is a scam. It's not a scam. I am not going to tell you that education is a scam. It's not true. In Nigeria, we put degree first in everything we do. From government, it's only politicians that will have somebody's contesting for a local government chairman office. It just said, the person had, I think, primary six. Some of them in House of Assembly, some of them didn't even have WAEC. Maybe they just started letting somebody to write WAEC for them. But in multinational organization in Nigeria, they look at your degree first. And so that's the reason why I keep telling people that degree is the first step in the ladder of your skills when it comes to Nigeria. But in other countries, your skills is what they look at first before they look at your degree. And so that's why you see in Nigeria, everybody wants to have a degree. Everybody wants to go to school. Everybody wants to have a PhD. Everyone wants to have 3-4 masters. So this here in Nigeria, it still works in some part. If you talk about IT, yeah, your skill in IT it's very okay. Some organization may not be looking at your degree. Do you have the first degree? But they understand, can you build all these codings and all the things you do, and all that? That's in IT. But when it comes to the accounting section, the engineering section, they are not looking at your skills. They're looking at your degree. For example, Chevron will not hire you because you have a skill. Chevron will want to hire you because you have a degree. But in other countries where Chevron operates, I'm not sure that's I may be wrong, I may be right. That's what they use to operate. But in Nigeria, that is what they use. You don't have a degree, you can't be employed. And then even if you have to be employed, they take you as a contract staff, they pay you so low, and then they pay people that has degree higher than you. that has a skill. So in Nigeria, degree is what is important. Then your skill just add up.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your perspective. One of the things you said is that your degree in Nigeria is the first step to a successful career. Now,
Yes.
That's the first step. Okay, fine. I like that you said it's the first step. Not it's see success in career, but it's but I want to throw the question to some other person. So
hold on. What I said your degree is the first step in the ladder of skills.
In the ladder
of skills, yes. Degree is the first step in the ladder of skills.
Okay, fine. Now let me throw this question to. I hope you can unmute yourself. Okay, I'll get Mora and then back to Ben and see, and then Niles. Now, Mora, she just said that that first degree is your, let's say the degree is your first step in the ladder. Okay, fine. Now that do you share in that perspective? Because I don't know what you read in school, but I do know what you're currently doing today. And I also do know that you had professional trainings with NIT in Abuja, mine with NIT Lagos. Maybe you didn't know that. Ben to the and for me personally, what I did at NIT was what catapulted me where I am today, and not anything with a 4-year degree program. Mora, what is your perspective? What Catherine just said, that that your degree is the first step in the ladder as far as your career is concerned. What's your perspective? Agree with that? If it's yes, please tell us. Just explain why you think she's own. That's where your line of thought. Also share why you think it shouldn't be.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. I'll start with your first degree is an enlightenment. I repeat, your first degree is an enlightenment degree. This was a statement by one of my lecturers. And it took me about it's good you can have a degree. To get from a degree is much more beyond the degree. You learn how to interact, you learn how to manage with time. Learn how to manage your resources, for which most people are doing.
Mora, we're not able to hear everything you are saying. Are you moving about?
I'll say to quickly address a family issue. First, or the area
Okay, Mora,
they had maybe
your network is also not allowing us.
represents
Mora, allowing us hear you. So can you hold on? It's a signal. Network issue. It's breaking, so we can't really make sense of what you're saying. We heard you the earlier part. Okay, try again. Let's see. Go ahead. Oh, it's still the same. It's still the same. It's breaking. You're coming back. We can't hear you. Okay. The ball to Ben. Ben. Okay. No, we can't hear you. You're breaking. You say one thing, you go dead for a while, and you come back again, you go dead for a while. So at the end of the day, we're missing the vital information from what you're saying. I would just say, why not hold on to your thought while I pull the ball in, and then I'll also come back to you. Probably maybe by then your network will be better. So, Mr. Ben, I hope yours is better now. Also chip in as far as policy is concerned, and also your thoughts concerning the first degree being your first being your first step in the ladder of your career or stuff like that. I mean, Catherine said that I didn't put it the way she said, but no, no, not clear. Mora, you're not clear. Ben, are you there?
So we cannot let Ben speak right now because Ben is not on audio. I think we've lost Mora.
We've lost Mora too. Okay.
Yeah.
Quickly then. And then while I'll pass the ball to you're the panelist. So what you thought about what Catherine and David just shared?
Okay. So thank you everyone for your input in this matter. First of all, I would like to reiterate that I live in the United States. I went to school in the United States, and a lot of my experience around degree and skilling come from the United States. So that's my experience. Now, if we're talking about future and what do I see, what I see in terms of the trend, well, before I tell you about what I notice in terms of the trend, let's kind of define these different aspects of that we're talking about. When you're thinking about a degree, right, this means that you have gone to university and you have spent some time and you've studied there for maybe 4 years, maybe 5 years or so. And what you learn at the university is usually a very broad level of knowledge. Okay. You learn a lot of broad level of knowledge. You learn about collaboration. You learn how to build relationships. You learn how to communicate. You learn how to present. All of these things are the things that you learn during that 4 year degree. Now, when you finish at university, it does not mean that you are equipped to do any job anywhere. Okay. When you finish that, I'm going to repeat, just because you finish a 4 year degree, whether it's in civil engineering or anything in IT, computer science, it doesn't mean that you have the skill to do that job. Okay. And so and then let's define skills. Skills are basically you as a person taking some time either to work as in IT or in an internship or an apprenticeship or taking some kind of certificate, gain some industry specific experience. Okay, that means you've invested time in yourself to study a specific set of knowledge. These are called hard skills that if you get employed, that you are able to use those skills immediately. Okay, so these are two different paths. Okay, now in the United States, there's a vast amount of people that are working in the industry, whatever their careers are, that do not have university degrees. Okay, but if you look at most of the job requisitions that are out there, you're going to see that most of the jobs, especially in IT, require that you have some kind of bachelor's degree. Okay, they're going to put that on there, right? That's usually a really easy way to kind of weed out people that may be job ready. Okay, I'm going to say that again. When you have a bachelor's degree and you see a job that you want to apply for, and you see they have a requirement for you to have a bachelor's degree, that is not a way for them to say that you are ready for that job. That's a way for them to say at least you have some minimal skills, that you are able to collaborate, you're able to research, you're able to adapt, you're able to be self-motivated, and able to communicate with other people. And they use the bachelor's degree as a way to weed out people, okay, from taking that job. Now, currently in the landscape, as businesses are becoming digitized and people are transforming their business to consume more digitization, what you're seeing is that most companies, your big companies, I can name Google, IBM, your Apple, a lot of companies are saying, hey, listen, you spend so much money and you spend so much time, 4 5 years plus, and you finish this university and you still don't have the skill to be employable by us. What can we do about that? Okay, so that's where you see skills come into play. They have created programs to say, hey, listen, I can allow you to learn this program for 6 months. And once you learn these programs for 6 months, you are essentially qualified to take a job that someone with a bachelor's degree has. Okay, that's one thing. Number two thing is certifications. Let's say you decide to become a civil engineer and you enroll in a university in Nigeria to go to school. Now, what I would suggest is this going forward, because one of the things that I see people lack is the actual skills to do the job, right? You can say you have a degree, but if you cannot do the job, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. If you say that you have a degree and you walk into an interview and you cannot explain to me what you can deliver, it doesn't matter to me and many other employers. So why don't you spend time and learn some skills and acquire those skills that no one can take from you? If you know what you want to do and you're majoring in that as a course of study, spend time acquiring those skills during that university period or during your bachelor's degree, so that when you finish, you will have skills that are employable, that are relevant in the society. Okay, I personally, if I were to Nigeria, I tell you, this is what I would do. I'm not saying that this is the path for you, right? I'm just saying that from my perspective, having skills are so important that once you have the skill, you can say, I want to be employed by an employer. If I gain these skills, I can have my own startup. I can have other people like myself, and we can build a fantastic enterprise that is self-sustaining and able to hire and make a positive impact in the society. Okay, that is an opportunity that you can do. Not today. I feel like you can do that, and you can be doing that while you finish your university, right? I see a lot of people just kind of lingering around, just waiting to finish university. And that is totally, to me, I think that's a poor path to take. Even in the university in the United States, when you attend those universities, there are some hard skills, some certifications that you are required to gain at some universities that allows you to be able to get a job in your industry when you finish. Okay, so my opinion in this matter is simply, hey, listen, there are some skills that you can gain those skills, right, while you are in the university, if that is the path for you. Another thing that we haven't brought up is potentials. I want to talk about this before I hand the mic back to Uko. I want to talk about potential, right? When employers are looking for someone to hire, they care a lot about your potential that you're able to deliver once you join that business. They want to know, are you able to collaborate with other people? They want to know, are you going to be someone that can innovate? Are you someone that's able to influence without authority? Are you able to adapt? You know, are you able to manage time without having somebody look over your shoulder and tell you what to do, right? So it's not just about skills, it's not just about getting a degree. These are soft skills that are so important that, when we're interviewing people, I personally don't always look for a degree. I don't always look for a degree. I want to see your potential. I want to see your fight. I want to see that you desire to be somebody. And so, with that said, I want to go ahead and say, or hand the ball back to Uko.
Okay, on. Thank you very much. I agree on percent is in the background. Can we shut up our mics? I totally agree with your perspective. I personally don't think skills is more important than the degree, or even if the degree is more important than skills. But my line of argument, where I have issues, it's where the degree is used as a barrier to cut off people with requisite skills, people who have the in-demand skills, and they are cut off or cut short as a result, or they set a certain kind of barrier so that they cannot advance in their career as a result of the 4-year degree. That is why I would want how do I pass to you? Because I'm looking at this policy angle. Now, if you look at the data I shared earlier, for those of you who joined us while I was sharing the data, you could see that Nigeria is already in a quagmire. We have a situation whereby we're churning out these degree holders in numbers, in quantum, and still cannot place them on the jobs. Not only place jobs, they're not even enough to even create jobs for themselves. So something is fundamentally wrong with the system. The unemployment population is growing, escalating, and keeps growing, and yet we're still holding on. If you look at one of the charts I shared about capital optimization of a survey result from World Economic Forum, Nigeria is at the bottom, even in Africa. We are not optimizing, and we keep churning out human capital out there on the street, and there is no optimization, and we want to grow. So my question, now I'm going to throw this question open to any of the panelists can answer this question. Should we continue with this policy of without a degree, you cannot have an next start as far as your career is concerned in either a public entity or a government entity? That is my question. Do you, from your aspect, now I know you would say in Nigeria, but I personally have grown beyond thinking around Nigeria. We live in a global economy, so I don't always look at Nigeria globally. I shared a video on the WhatsApp group. I don't know if some of you time to look at it. It had to do with President Trump 2 months ago signing an executive order to allow people with demand skills, job skills, to be recruited into the federal service, that's the civil service in the United States, irrespective of whether they have degrees or not. As long as you have the prerequisite skills and you bring value and you are qualified, they employ you based on bring to the table. Now, this is in the civil service. I'm not talking about the private sector. But here, Catherine said, we're still holding on to that a 4-year degree is not for you. You can't advance. Even if we recruit you, you can advance beyond a certain level. Now, my question to any member of the panelists can attempt this. Should we as a country, considering the quagmire we are in right now as a result of the massive number of unemployed young people in Nigeria, still hold on to that without a degree, or your degree should be or should remain your first step in terms of your ladder in climbing in your career? Please, any of the let's go and attempt this before I throw open the floor for other members, participants to go ahead and ask their questions or make their contribution. Please, any of the panelists,
Okay,
unmute yourself and quickly
I'll go
share
first.
this.
I'll go first, and I'll hand the ball over to David. So here's my opinion on that. Thank you for bringing up, highlighting that in what you've noticed. So first of all, university costs a lot of money, right? And it takes a lot of time to finish university. And I mean, I know some youth from Nigeria today that started UNIO. Let me tell you, but since I think March, UNIO has been on it was on a strike. Is it March or back in February? It was on strike, right? So from then until today, those students still don't know when they can return back to school. They don't know when they're going to return back to school, right? So it takes time, it takes money, right? So are you telling all of those entire generations to wait? This is students that are first year, second year, fourth year to wait. Now it's almost a year. So that's adding an additional 1 year for them to finish their bachelor's degree. So are you going to wait for that to become productive in the society? Like you don't have to wait for that. I'm not saying, fall at university. I'm not saying that. But today you can start to become independent from relying on your parents or your family or whomever your sponsors are by gaining skills and looking for problems and starting to solve those problems. If you start to solve those problems today, you might find that, what the heck, I don't want to be employed by the government agency, the enterprise, because I am busy doing really well in my enterprise. You understand what I'm saying? So why, while everybody's saying you need to have a bachelor's degree, all of those things, it's great, but you can start to have an effect today in your society. Today, you get some industry specific skills that you can leverage. University is going to always be there. It's going to always be there, right? So you may be able to start, or making money and hiring other people before you finish university. Or you may just say, I'm going to stop going to university for now, focus on my skills and starting my startup or partnering with others to start a startup so that, when I finish that and that business is running well, I can go back to school if I want to. The goal is, how much time do you want to wait for the university? And then when you finish the university, are you going to have the skills you actually need to be able to get a job? I mean, a lot of Nigerian people, I know that those are my people, they have degrees. In fact, they have multiple of them. They have doctorates, they have masters, they have bachelors. They still don't have jobs. In fact, they resort to selling plantain chips, riding Akada. You see what I'm saying? If you gain specific skills today, tomorrow, a month from today, you can immediately begin to make an effect in the society because you're going to start to see problems that you can solve with those industry specific skills. I know that's kind of a little bit radical, but I am radical, so I'll add.
No, you're on point. I go to David. Can I give Mura another shot because Mr. Ben has not been able to come back, but Mura is still on. So Mura, can you also share your perspective about what we just discussed? Should we hold on to policy? Other nations are moving on. Germany started it. Germany don't look at your 4-year degree as the priority in terms of recruitment. Not that it's not necessary for you to go for it, but if I can find somebody who has the skill set and he has all the merits to take the job, I will give him the job. I mean, in Germany, and irrespective of whether he has a university degree or not. And in a situation whereby Mr. A has a university degree and does not, and Mr. B does not have a university, but Mr. B has the prerequisite skill and experience and knowledge to do the job, but simply because he does not have a degree, I'll now have Mr. A just because of policy issue. Mora, please tell me, should Nigeria country continue with such a policy? Other countries are beginning to shift away from such policies. I guess Mora maybe is not hearing me. So I guess
Okay.
I'll pass the ball to you, and then Ankati will come next.
Okay. Yeah, I've enjoyed the conversation so far. I think this is it. We there are a few things that you have touched on that are more like hotspots. Now, you talked about the system. I think fundamentally there's a system failure that has put us where we are because there is a general assumption of what the university is supposed to be and expected outcomes that when you have passed through a university, there's an assumption of a set of behavior and skills that naturally you have acquired. When you, I mean, 100 level, I'm sure you heard it. They tell you, don't just pass through the university, let the university pass through you. The way the universities are originally supposed to be is such that what you learn in the classroom should probably be around 30-40%. The bulk of the learning should be in the environment. You see, if you look at the meaning of the word university, university derives from a Latin word, universitas magistrum et scholarum. I mean, it means a community of teachers and scholars. It's actually not designed to have been a linear or a one-directional traffic where you teach and learn, teach and learn. So, let me not over digress. The problem is this: if the university system is working the way it was designed to, or the way it was assumed to be working, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because the difference will be clear between somebody who has passed through university and somebody who has not. Trust me, there are some skills that it is difficult, extremely difficult to learn outside the university system. I don't know if you get me. There's a background noise somewhere.
So David, we cannot hear everything you're saying because there's so much noise in your background.
It's not from my background.
Yes.
The noise is not from my end.
Oh,
The
really?
noise is not from me. No, it's not from here. I'm also hearing the noise through.
Please repeat now. We can hear you now.
It's a noise coming in and it's not from my end.
My every other person's mic is mute, so I don't know where it's coming from.
It's coming from Mora. Mora? It's coming from Mora. Mora, can you hear me?
Can you mute?
Kamsi, what are you doing?
Kamsi, go ahead.
Phone has some kind of trouble. It's not allowing me to mute him.
Can you mute Mora?
My network is so bad today.
Mora, can you mute? Okay, go ahead now,
Okay.
David. He's muted.
Okay. All right, good. So there's a general assumption about what the university is supposed to be from the way the university was designed. If you look at the Latin word from which the university is designed, it means a community of scholars and learners. Okay, now the basic reason why we're having this conversation is because there is already a system failure in our education system. I am a product of the education system, and right now I am in the education system. I run a school. I'm trying to get into the education system because I see a lot of failure, a lot of defect that we're trying to correct from the ground up. Now, if universities were running the way they were designed to run, we wouldn't even be discussing this matter because you've heard statements like, "Don't just pass through the university; let the university pass through you." Because if you pass through a university system that is working properly, there's going to be a very clear and distinct line of difference between you and somebody who has not passed through that system. There are some skills, there are some things that it is assumed that, look, if you have not passed through a university system, you don't know them. I mean, some level of discipline, somebody I talked about that, let me not go back into that. But you see, the entire concept of preparing a project, all the 10 papers to do, the presentation, the teamwork, and all of those things, those are things that some of them you really can't learn independently outside of such a system. And then we're talking like this probably because most of us are around the tech industry. And the tech industry is mostly a skill-driven industry. None of you is going to talk like this when it comes to a doctor. Someone says, I am a doctor. I have not gone to medical school, but you know what? I have the skill to do a brain surgery. I know how the brain works. You get it? I mean, I understand the heart very well. Where did you learn how the heart? I mean, I've read, I've tried it. I learned it. Someone taught me by the roadside, so I can do a heart surgery. And you've not gone through medical school because why do we trust? Why do we trust a person who is called a doctor? Because we believe that in the system of a university, everything you need to have known had been factored in. I studied computer science first degree, and first 2 years, all I was doing was mathematics and algebra and math. And I kept asking, why am I doing this? I came to study computer science. Teach me how to code. That's what I thought computer science was all about. Look, it was when I got back to the industry that I began to value those abstract algebra, numerical analysis, and everything, because it shaped the way I think. I can look at problems from a different perspective. So truly, I would think that for companies and organizations that have set those policies and have said, look, there is a level that you can't hit if you don't have this and this and this. They are working on a set of assumptions. Now, our system failure has made those assumptions to be questioned. Even in Nigeria right now, there are universities you will come out from in this country, and people will assume that, okay, this guy has crossed a general minimum. You know those universities, I don't have to mention their names. Right now, there are universities that are leading on the chart, and people just believe if you've gone to Covenant University, you've gone to probably what are those other universities? There's some general assumptions. So yes, I think that for us as individuals, if you're listening to me now, and you probably still are a student, and you are thinking, this thing, does it make sense, does it not make sense? I would just recommend, push through the system. Endure the waste of time. I won't lie to you. There were classes I stopped attending as an undergraduate. Statistics, I stopped attending statistics classes because I did not need to be in class to get an A. All the man was everything he gave you. And I don't need to attend one class to be able to give the man back everything he gave us. I had my A's better than those who even went to the classes. So understand how your system works. But most importantly, figure out, understand also how the world is still thinking. Like I said in the beginning, very few companies are still thinking in that line that skill does not matter, and very few industries. If you're looking at knowledge-based industries, like Catherine talked about, you're looking at account, you're looking at human resource. You can't tell me that you learned it on the streets. I want to see proof. And then the other thing is this. Some companies are beginning to create, those companies who are rejecting regular systems, if you check deeply, some of them are creating their own parallel system. So they still have their own ways of ensuring that the skills that they need are learned. I mean, General Electric has a leadership school that can match any university anywhere in the world internally, where they train their own people. So they've understood that, okay, what we need is, we are these skills that we need. We assume people went from the university, but they did not. So let us ignore that, get them with the basics, and then give them the skills. People believe that those things that we assume universities will give you are basically presentation skills, teamwork, collaboration. If you have the core skills, you can write code. Come, we will teach you the rest. In my own company, about 4 or 5 of my people right now are undergraduate. I have people who are not in, I have 2 young guys. One is in University of Ibadan, one is in University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Both schools are out. They are working for me. Those guys can almost match graduates. Of course, there are deficiencies. I am now working on filling in those deficiencies. Those deficiencies should have been filled in school, or maybe filled by the time they are done with school. For example, I can't ask one of them to make a presentation on my behalf. Yes, they can write code, but I can't send them to go talk to a client. I can't ask them to prepare a brief. Okay, you know what? We've done this project. Prepare the summary for this project that to present to a client. If you have not done final year project, bros, I don't trust that you can. You see that process of doing those. So that's why it's a very, very, very dicey thing. If our universities are working properly, we won't have this conversation. We are in the tech industry. Let's not forget that. So the tech industry allows us to ignore some things and focus on skills. There are still industries where you cannot have this conversation. And at the same time, I would think, get the core and let's find a parallel system that can fix what education is not fixing. If we're talking about education today, I can talk for the next 2-3 hours on the problems and solutions of the education system, but today's not an educational day. We're talking about skills and the balance. So that's what I'll just contribute to that. And
okay, fine. Thank you. Before comes on, Ben is there. I want to say my last questions because so I'm now on. I'm going to throw the participants to also come up with questions and also bring in their own perspective. Ben and Catherine, I want to ask this question. Now, we live in a world, and in business, we try to optimize time and resource. Now, we try to crunch time and resource in order to optimize and get maximum value. Right as David has said, French university system is not delivering on its deliverables or its expected deliverables. Should we continue now looking at the policy and making some courses be medicine, maybe law, or maybe engineering? I might not, I just don't want to pick on those professions, but aside maybe a few professions, should we continue with a 4-year degree system? Can't we crunch the degree system in order to optimize time and resource to a 2-year program? Will it not still serve the? Because a lot of people are arguing that the 4-year degree program is an absolute waste of time, that what you learn in 4 years can be crunched into 2 years. And some of the things that are learned within that 4 years are even irrelevant because you can also pick up some of these skills outside the university, the walls of the university. Why not focus on the core expertise of whatever profession the university degree is supposed to deliver on, and then the other how should I say, you them on the field. Now, if Google and some other companies, I mean, a lot of them, even the Bank of America, all of them, they have this program they've designed for college graduates, for university, for high school graduates, can quickly come on and get on-hands experience and begin their career, and it's equivalent to a 4-year degree program, and they could complete this program in 6 months, in 1 year. Will it not be proper for us as a country to start looking at that angle where the degree program is crunched into a 2-year program in order to save time, to save cost, and to also optimize our human capital, like I mentioned in my presentation? Please, I pass this question. Yes, I can hear you. The question for you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you very clear now. Very clear. We can hear you.
Okay, I was actually on transit, so I'm back in Metama now. Okay,
so go ahead. You're clear now.
I've listened to all of you. Everything has been said. I don't think the issue is about the 4-year program. No, if we focus our attention on the 4-year university education as a problem, then we're getting it wrong. Granted, there are disruptions in the industry, not just globally, that has made it possible for people with skills to step forward and go into jobs that were traditionally reserved for graduates. But that's not in any sense making university education irrelevant. The disruptions we are seeing in the education space is expected. I mean, education cannot be an exception, when every other industry is being disrupted. But we are also seeing, a lot of changes within the system, that are designed to accommodate these changes. That's why you have, hybrid learning or online learning coming up a full force, even by traditional universities, because they have recognized the need, for continuous learning. I thought that when I saw this topic, I don't know why the audio is echoing back.
George, can you mute your mic? I think the echo comes from your end.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, let me do that. All right.
Yeah. Okay, this is great. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. So fine. So when I saw the topic, one of the things that among several other things that came to my mind was how the changes that are going on in the education space can be relevant to the Nigerian situation, particularly as it relates to some of the very uh, um, um, critical topics like unemployment or underemployment, just as George showed us in the slides that he shared. Now, um, from the work I have done a year in Nigeria, and some of the things I continue to do. So what really bothers me is how we can use the current education system, and reposition it to be more relevant to the changes that are going on. Not that the university system is no longer useful, but we also have a problem, or rather, the reality, which was that. Hello. Hello?
I muted them. It's okay. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Yes. So number one, in as much as we have had problems in the last 20 or more years, the gulf between the Nigerian education system and the labor market seem to be widening. Now it's even more severe because the jobs are no longer what uh, we are used to. So new jobs are going to come in. What should the Nigerian education university system do? We need to find a way that we can accommodate these changes in the current education system rather than scrapping them. We need to find a way that we can incorporate the skill sets that are relevant uh, in today's job market or future industries into current curriculum. We also have to find a way that uh, um, we can give opportunities for people to go into the university system, acquire skills on a short-term basis, so that basically what I'm saying is that, we need to remove the rigid nature of the university system and make it such that it accommodates the needs of the present or modern world, which is a combination of skills and knowledge, right? So, how would a young person, for instance, even if it's not qualified to go into a degree program, can learn skills, whether in the formal system or through short courses, right, and still be um, accredited by recognized universities. That is what the international universities are doing, right? So they have imbibed, short-term courses, direct programs that enable you acquire skills, right? That is how the university systems, globally are remaining relevant. That's why the leading universities, thought that it was necessary for them to, get involved in um, um, massive online websites, more sites like Udemy and Coursera and so on. Otherwise, they become obsolete because university education will continue to be expensive, not too expensive. Yeah. So that's the challenge I see for Nigeria, and that's where I think that we should focus our attention as a country, right? So there's a need for the government and the education sector in particular, to uh, deliberately accommodate the changes that are going on, right? The next thing I'd like to talk about is that, I mean, someone has mentioned it, if not just one person, the changes that are driving at focus towards skills are led by the creative industries that technology represents. And indeed, the space is getting wider because we are seeing a combination of multiple disciplinary disciplines as a result of likes of big data and AI and so on. Right. So for us to be able to utilize this developments in a way that translates into job opportunities is something that needs to be considered urgently. Otherwise, even the skills we are talking about, now would pass us by. In other words, even when the people acquire skills here, we're looking at outside shows, right, for the jobs or the businesses and so on. But we have a lot of opportunities, largely because of the serious deficiencies in different areas of our national lives, whether you're talking about education or health and so on. So the acquisition of those skills and the ability to apply them creatively in both orthodox and emerging industries is one of the ways that would lead us out of the serious unemployment or underemployment issues that we have in Nigeria at the moment. I'd like to pause here for now.
Okay, give Mr. Ben. Because of lack of time, please, Mora and Catherine, please hold on. You respond to questions from the members, from participants. So please let the floor be open because we'll run out of time. So let us open the floor. If you have any question, please shoot. And I think Mora and Catherine will take the first shot before the other panelists. Please go ahead, unmute yourself, or just indicate by raising your hand. I'm sure Niles will unmute your mic so that full conversation and it's not a rowdy one. Just raise your hands if you have a question. Niles will unmute you, and then you can go ahead and ask your question, and our panelists will be on ground to respond to your question.
While we're waiting for the guys to raise your hand, let's go ahead and see if Mora and share his opinion.
Mora and Catherine.
Okay, Catherine is unmuted. You can go on.
Okay. Uko, back to your question.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
And clear.
Okay. Now, I'll first of all use this. Alpha Female Leaders and Entrepreneurship Network. It's about, I look at it in this form that they start talking about leadership to be an entrepreneur with people in the, after you've gotten a first degree and all that. Now, the people in the younger people in secondary school, they don't know anything about leadership. They don't teach them leadership. They don't teach them how to be an entrepreneur. They don't teach them like, okay, look, you can, apart from you can do some other thing out of passion apart from what you want to study. And that's what Better Alpha Female Network, where we teach younger people in secondary school what it means to be. So leadership is all about how you can be an entrepreneur and you still achieve what you want to achieve. You can be a medical doctor, but you're still an entrepreneur. Now, Access Bank has a school for non-bankers, just in non-people that study any course related to banking, accounting, and all that. But you must have a first degree. So you go into the school, it's a one-year school, but you must have a first degree. It doesn't matter whether a first degree in biochemistry, a first degree in whatever discipline, but you must have a first degree. Now you go into the school and study for 1 year. Now, some other banks, they started first. Some other banks will come there and pick and employ people from there in their different banks. Now, other banks now look at it, oh, it's a good thing, and they started. But even as they started, you must have a first degree. In as much as they're going to teach you the core banking things and all that, they'll clash everything in 1 year. But you must have a first degree. So from my own perspective as an HR person, I will tell you you cannot tell me you're a chartered accountant when you don't have a first degree. And there's difference between you being, I have a degree in accounting and you not being a chartered accountant. It's two different things. The thing I remember when I was in university, what I learned as an accounting student was different from what I learned as an ACCA student. It's totally different. So what I'm trying to say is that degree and skill, like I think I've typed already, degree and skill, they are the same coin, but you see, both are very important. Now, I can have all the degrees I can have in the whole world, and I don't have skill. It doesn't take me anywhere. I can have a BSc, so I don't even know how to use I don't know how to use Excel sheets. With all my degree, I don't know how to use an Excel sheet just to type. It won't. I will always want to call somebody like, oh, come, do you know how to use it? But I have all the degrees in the whole world. So just like David had mentioned, all these things we are debating, I keep saying that the skills that are important that we can have without degree are IT. You can go to learn coding without you having a degree, right? But you can't be a medical doctor, you can't be a lawyer without a degree. You can't go to teach in a school without you having NCE. So in all that we need to see is that, let's look at it that skill is important, but education is important. Degree is also important. Yeah, Donald Trump had said, we're knocking out the people, you have to employ people that didn't go to school. But I tell you, if you put somebody that did not go to school and put somebody that go to school, their behavior cannot be the same. There's so many things that have been you learn when you're in the university that people that don't go to university don't know about. So you see, this work hand in. I remember when I was having my first degree, ASU was on strike for 1 year and 6 months. A lot of people were at home for 1 year and 6 months. But my dad makes me to go and learn something. To say, look, you can't just stay at home. You need to go and learn. When school resumes, you start. And so it's the same thing. We can also do like that. I remember all through this lockdown, so many people were letting their kids learn coding, so many other things on the internet, free courses and all that. It all helps. So what I'm trying to say is that, in a nutshell, is that degree and skills are important. They are in the same coin, head and tail.
Thank you,
Yes.
Catherine.
Yes.
You said, but because of time, I wouldn't want to take you on that. I would have taken you on that. But like I said, the floor is open for anybody who has questions. Please go ahead. Seriously, there is something you said, something that I don't quite agree with, but because of time, these. No, don't worry. Let's not go there. It's going to extend the conversation, and we can handle that later.
On WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp. Okay, fine.
Mm.
The audience, the floor is open. Ask your question. Share your perspective. And if you can't, you can type from the chat section and we'll read it out. There are a couple of chats. I think maybe I should start. Let me just unmute yourself and go ahead.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sika. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening.
I just want to talk about I will say that yes, the degree is good, very necessary. I can remember when I was in college, in Yaba, at some point they had to bring some students from Unilab to come and learn practical on mechanical engineering or machinist. And so we were putting them through on how to operate the machines and all of that. Yeah, first of all, the way degree education or university education is taken in this part of the world is too much. When I mean too much, in the sense that when someone has a skill come into an environment and they know this person, oh, has a skill, we need this person, but they say he doesn't have a degree. And so they will knock the person off and bring somebody else into the system to operate. But now this is the point. Most of the in Nigeria don't have degrees. Some of them did not even finish secondary school, not to talk of going to university. And yet they are the boss of over a PhD holder. I want or the organizers of this conference or this training to look into that. One. Two, where we treat ourselves is another problem. Nobody was born with the knowledge you have or skills that you have. Yes, it is true some people are talented, are gifted from birth, but they still have to get certain things straightened out as time goes on. Number two thing that I want the organizers, or for those of the organizers who are the aims of setting positions, to be able to handle some of this. And then, thirdly, most jobs, the requirement, and sometimes, especially most of the international jobs, sometimes the qualification and the age they ask for is something else. Then you end up making people forge information. For instance, ECOWAS want to employ, and they ask somebody to be a PhD, a master degree holder, but it should not be more than 30 years old. For God's sake, where is he going to get it from? If not for private universities that people could go to school, but not even everybody can afford it. I know people who went to state university system. The protocol and the system is something else. So these are my few things I want to just bring out, and so that we look into these things to really help ourselves and also the young people, the youth, or the
Hey, thank you, Mr. Mark. I'm sure perspective it's well heard, well received. Your concern is also about Nigerians, especially in this country, placing too much emphasis on the degree, and also placing this dichotomy that if you don't have a degree, you can't really go far. I understand. Okay, that's the contribution, not a question. Okay, any other person? Please unmute yourself, ask a question, or
okay.
I'd rather you ask.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Okay. Good evening.
Yes, thank you. Okay, first of all, I really love to appreciate the organizer of the program. Really learned a lot. These have been some questions that I've been asking myself. Yeah. So I think King and David has done a great job. They did a great job to bring balance to the perspective. Now, okay, because when we talk about skills, where the skills are needed most, it has to do majorly in the IT industry. You can't tell someone I go to school and I want to become a doctor. So in such a case, the degree are needed. Now I want to ask, okay, now that we've tried to bring a balance between degree and skills. Now for me, that if I'm going to school, how do I, now that I know that the two of them are necessary, how do I bring the balance? How do I pursue my degree, and I don't just wait to finish school, then look for a job? How do I bring the balance of getting a skill along the line? That's my question.
Okay, that's a question. Laura, will you like that? Because I'm sure we've not been able, you've not had an opportunity to speak. Is Mora still? I guess he is not. Okay. Any other person? If Mora is not there, Catherine, David, Niles, and could you
Okay,
help?
let me just say something briefly.
Uh,
Yeah, if you are a student in a Nigerian university, NUC is already working on your behalf. As I say NUC, I'll be ASU. Now that they've shut down the university, what are you doing with your time? Find a place and hook up and learn. I mean, the truth is, most of us who work in the tech industry today, we didn't learn what we learned in school. The best thing you do, I advise you, make use of all your holidays. Every break you have, even if it is 1 month, go find a place. I currently have 3 of my company. They are all university students. They just need a place where they can hook up, and I give them that opportunity. They are working with me. learning to code, learning development, and all of that. So use every break you have. Online is there. If you don't have breaks, I mean, online learning is quite easy. There are lots of platforms that allow you to take courses online. In fact, you have even, I think Harvard has made their courses even free online, CSP free. So sometimes for myself, I go back to look at what's happening in Harvard, just take those courses just to refresh my mind and see what's going on. So yes, you have opportunities. Internships are there, paid trainings physically are there, online trainings are there. Make use of all the time you have. And then this is, I'll give this at the risk, I want to say it, but use it at your own discretion. When you find a course that really you just feel that I don't connect with this course, my time in the class is a waste. If you can manage it, stop going to the class. Read your book and pass. You really don't need to be in class, except the lecturer says attendance is mandatory. It's something that worked for me. It happened. I did it for many courses. I just realized I don't get along with this teacher. I'm not going to show up again, and then I still pass my exams and all of that. So just create time anyhow. Make the best of every opportunity you have. If you need platforms for learning, there are many. Just Google it. There are many. Just decide what you want to learn and go online. You'll find sources there. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Any other question? Just because of time, I know maybe one or two other panelists who have like to take a shot at that question, but we're going to still wrap things up. But let's give opportunity to any other person who has a question. Please, any other question from the house? Tayo, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Tayo.
Oh,
fine. So
I want to thank the. Yes. Yeah. I'm hearing. Are you hearing me? Yes. First of all, I want to say big thank you for the organizers of this program. I got invited through Mora, so and I've listened on since the beginning to this point. I am very great, but I am of the opinion that skill still better option. Yes, we know the degrees are required for certain industries, medicine, law, accounting, and things like that. But the that are doing well, they are the ones that are placing skills above degrees. So Nigerian that we are holding on to degrees, where has it taken us? Where has it taken us? So I think we need to look in that direction of skill more than how we are holding on to degrees and university degrees. So my question is now, we may not be able to engineer this change immediately at the policy level, but individually, maybe as a do we change, or how do we align with this change? That is my question. That nationally we might not be able to change it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you cannot create the needed change at the national level, but individually, in your community, in your family, how can we begin to effect this change? Now, okay, so right, who's going to take a shot at that? Our panelists.
Okay. You see, how we going to affect the change is for instance, I have, just like Mr. David had said, I have right presently I have an SS3 that is working for me as my personal assistant. I have she is OND. She's just like about getting to HND. She's also, I have 3 of my staffs in Lagos here are not graduates. And I intentionally decided to do it that way because I want to teach them that you can actually become an HR person. You can learn human resources without going to the university. So I started, just like you're asking, how do we effect it? Mr. David had said the same thing in his organization. He has people that are not graduates that are working for him, but they had limited to so many things. I cannot send my PA presently to say, okay, you know what, go and speak on my behalf in those things. go to this place and talk for me, go to this place and have meeting with this client for me. Instead, I go with the person, but the person is learning. So how to do it is, let's start from us. We that run companies, we that runs organization. Let's start from not looking at, oh, you must have this, you must have that. Let's get people that don't have and they are ready to learn. And so I think that's, for me, that's how we will start all this.
Beautiful from Catherine. I must give you a round of applause because I share in what you say. Personally, too, in my organization, to a degree holder that I have is a core member, and I think I have 2 core members, and that means currently NYC members. The rest of my team of 8 individuals are all undergraduates or not even yet in school. I particularly take them. I particularly have more interest in people like that in order to mentor them, and also I'm not saying that degree important, but I'm also trying to let them know that if you are not opportune right now to acquire a degree, it's not the end of the world. Anyway, moving on. Any other question?
I
2
do
hours
want
of
to add
conversation.
one thing. I do want to add one
Okay,
thing.
please go ahead.
So I think that it's there are a lot of things that hold us back. I do want to say that we've always done things this way, and so we're going to continue to do things that way, right? That inhibits innovation. That stops a lot of progress. When we say we always done things this way and we're always going to have to follow that same path. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard about the quote stating that you cannot continue to do insane things expecting different results, right? Yeah, so I understand the culture says you have to go get this degree, or the culture says you have to, I understand that because I'm Nigerian, just like probably everybody in this room. Now, with that said, just because you have a degree does not mean you're going to have a strong work ethic. Does not mean you're going to have grit. Does not mean you have talent. It doesn't mean you're going to know how to present. This, the question that the young guy just asked is, how do we effect change? Okay. I agree with Catherine. I agree with Bern that it starts with us. It starts with every single one of us who understand, hey, listen, something is broken about the university system, right? We can't fix that, but how do we effect change, in our own capacity? Today, I have 9-year-olds that can make presentations for me. 9-year-old kid, they can use an Excel. The other day I was talking, one kid came to me and started talking about binaries and how to convert his entire name into a binary. And also we in my home, I can tell you that one of the things that's required is, if you want to buy this, you need to present to me. You need to create a PowerPoint presentation, and you need to present that to the entire home. And that's just not something that I require, because in their school system, that's also required. These are skills that are going to be, that they're going to carry for the rest of their lives. Now, are you telling me that all of the university graduates are able to present to I can tell you, I know several of them that are afraid to. In fact, even professors that don't use PowerPoint to make presentations to their students, right? These are skills we need to be relevant in the industry, or in the community, or in a digital economy, but our professors are not even using it. How do you expect someone to finish the university being taught by the same professors and they don't have those skills, right? So what I'm saying is that, I guess what I just want to wrap up with is that we have to be conscientious of when we are adopting culture and just hugging onto culture, right? We have to be able to assess every single thing that we stand for, our principle, and say, hey, listen, am I just adopting this because it's cultural? Or hey, is there an opportunity here? Can I shift a little bit in my thing? It may be radical and people may look at you like you're crazy, and that's okay. For me, I think employers look for potential, they look for ethics, they look for grit, they look for talent, someone who's able to collaborate. You can teach a 10-year-old that. Why can't you teach someone who is an 18 years old and above? So I say all that just to say that, everyone in the room, just consider having an open mind. Just consider different opportunities. Don't just wait. Don't just stand stagnant and wait for the university system. I'll go ahead and pass the ball to our host, Mr. Uncle George.
Okay, thank you, Niles. You just shared my mind, my thoughts. I must say the truth. I share your line of thoughts. Absolutely. The child. That's why you could see the area of my questioning was attacking cultural aspect, whereby it's like it's a norm and we have to hold on to it. Can't we have just some adjustment in order to accommodate, in order to catch up with what is happening elsewhere? In our system, this is what's obtainable. Yes, just like was it Emmanuel? No, not Emmanuel. I can't remember. Somebody, I think last said that we might not be able to make the effect the change at the national level, but how can we effect it within our homes? And like you could hear from the panelists, every one of them are already doing it in their own organization, within their spheres of influence. They're already beginning to make that shift, trying to make the adjustment in giving opportunities to those the system refused to give opportunity to. That's how I see it. We're trying to give up, like I said, I don't even have a university graduate. The farthest I have to a graduate is a core member, Stephen, who in Ekiti State currently. The rest of them are undergraduate, and some of them are not yet in school, and they're above 18. So this is as if they are just secondary school. We have to give them this hope that, come, all is not lost. You can still get this university degree, but right now, since you can continue building skills, because this is something I did not know a couple of years back, and which is still one of my greatest regrets. As we're going to wrap up, because we've already spent over 2 hours, we want to shut down. I will just take one more question and we call it a day, please. Maybe we'll continue the conversation on the WhatsApp group. So if you're not part of WhatsApp, please indicate, or we'll share the link before we wrap up. So maybe just one more question. Fasolu, the mic is off. To say something quickly. Yours will be the last take, please. Please permit us. I could see your mic was. That's why I thought maybe you wanted to say something. Okay. If you're not ready to say anything, we should wrap up because of time. Please, guys, let's throw our questions on the WhatsApp group. If you have a question that you feel needs to be addressed, please just drop it on the WhatsApp group and we'll continue the conversation there. At this moment, we would like to say thank you to everybody who has been a part of this meeting, and thank you to panelists for the perspective that you shared and the insight that you've been able to dig out for us. I feel this conversation should have a part two, because the topic is inexhaustible. I don't know what you guys say. Maybe we'll do a part two of this conversation sometime to come. So on that note, I want to say thank you to everybody, and thank you to Mr. Ben, thank you to Catherine, thank you to David, thank you to Mora. Sorry, his network wouldn't allow him to talk. Thank you to Mr. Victor Ananaba. I don't know why he didn't send it today. That's our regular. Thank you to Mohamed. Thank you to Grace, all the way from Kenya. Thank you to Fasolu, Mabel, Emmanuel, and another person that even if I have not been able to mention your name, thank you very much. Now, you want to do us the honor of giving a parting shot, or maybe we'll just let Grace say something up from Kenya. Grace, can you just say something from Kenya? Give us the parting shot while now down the meeting. Muniri from Kenya, say something. Okay, fine.
Hi everyone. It's been a very informative session and I've learned a lot as well. Thank you for the speakers. We've learned immensely, and yeah, the question on a skill and a degree, it's always a question that is always on our minds. But I think, as one of us said, you need a degree if you're doing maybe a course that is related maybe to medicine, but for IT, it is very skill oriented. But I always feel that the degree will get you to the opportunities. But yes, it has been a very, very informative session and I've learned a lot. Thank you, the organizing team, for organizing this and always keeping us updated with what is the current trends in the market and what people need to equip themselves with. so that we can have an upper hand. Thank you very much, Ugo, for this opportunity, and everyone else, thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
All right. It's great. It's always a great pleasure having you. And now, you are the honor of closing the meeting, pardon short,
Right,
and
everyone.
say bye bye to everyone. Okay.
Yes, everyone.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining the
Thank
meeting.
you.
We're so glad everyone joined the meeting. Please look out in the future of Job's room, and you guys will be able to get more information about the upcoming webinar. So thanks everyone for joining the meeting. See you guys next time. Goodbye.
All right, we'll do this hopefully next Saturday, but if not, we'll keep you posted. Join the group or the Facebook group for more updates and information. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Nanaba, especially.
Uko, can you stay on?
All right, good night. Okay, all right.